Hello, Richie. Thanks for coming on the This Day Metal podcast today. I really
It's a pleasure,
appreciate
man. Thanks
your
for having me.
time coming on. So you're here on the podcast to talk about your band, Elegant Weapons. Can you tell me about the band a little bit?
Is that what it is we're here to talk about? They told me it was something completely different. What's going on? No, I'm only kidding.
No way.
No, we've got a record coming out next. Hey, do you know what? It's this month. I can't believe it's May already. Where's the year going? I was going to say
fast,
next
man.
month there, but it's this month. Later on this month, it's called Horns for a Halo. I've got Christopher Williams from Accept and Davey Rimmer from Uriah Heep in the band, along with Ronnie Romero. I've got Rex Brown on the record from Pantera, a little band that people might have heard of.
Yeah, I might have.
Might have heard of them. Scott Travis plays drums on the record. Again, in another band you might have heard of called Judas Priest. Ronnie also sings on the record. So we've got two singles out at the moment. The third one comes out around the time of the record release. So that's basically it, really. We've got some live dates coming up in Europe in June and July, which we're very much looking forward to. I've just realised that's only next month, so I better get me fingers working. Better learn
going,
the songs properly. That's basically the long and the short of it. We're off this year with Priest. So I was able to put some stuff together and put it out this year and get on the road and do some dates with my own band of Reprobate. So that's basically the story.
So can you describe the sound of the band? Like
it's like acid skiffle meets Britpop. No, it's I'm being silly today. I've had too much coffee this morning. It's I mean, there's no surprises really. Obviously, my DNA in Priest as a Priest guitar player it comes through, and obviously my influences as a guitar player in Priest come through. I'm a huge Zakk Wylde fan, huge Dave Murray fan. I mean, Maiden and Priest are part of my DNA really, along with Michael Schenker, Jimi Hendrix, Black Sabbath. There's slices of Alice in Chains in there. All that stuff really, that I think anyone that is aware of me and Priest has sort of picked up on throughout the last, almost, I think it's about 12 years now in Priest. So all of those sort of things are contained in the DNA of the music that's coming across with Elegant Weapons, as it has been, as I said, in my contributions to Priest over the years. Anyway, if you look for it, you can hear those influences in there for sure.
Nice.
What do you got? You got whiskey in there or what? What are you drinking in there? I know what's in there.
Too early in the morning. So do you have a favorite track off the album? Is anything catching you that you like playing? And
well, I'm terrible with favorites because if you pick one, there's other ones that you've left out. But I do like the third single that's coming out. My hand's a bit shaky here. That's a bit worrying. The third single that's coming out from this record in a few weeks is a song called Horns for a Halo. Not horny for a halo that someone pointed out. No, it's not that. Horns for a Halo. It's really about the question that we ask ourselves sometimes about the good and evil. Who are we? Are we the good? Are we the evil? Are we known for the good that we do or the bad that we do? And when we're judged by whoever's at the pearly gates or whatever we believe in, do they see our horns, so to speak, or do they see our halos? That's basically the imagery behind it. And I like the song. It's got a kind of Black Sabbathy, Alice in Chains type feel, and there's some cool metal riffage in the middle. So I like that song for the imagery it conjures up, the questions, and obviously the way it sounds.
So you say you have some European dates coming up starting next month, is it? And do you plan on touring America at all? Do you have anything set up to come over here?
We don't at the moment, but I'd love to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. June, July, we're in Europe. We've got some dates with Pantera. We've got some dates with the Winery Dogs and Jared James Nichols, Jared's a great friend of mine. We're looking forward to. That's going to be a guitar fest. It's going to be us, Jared, Winery Dogs. Obviously, we've got Richie Kotzen on guitar. That's going to be a guitar fest. But obviously, beyond that, we're looking at opportunities in the States and beyond. Really, we're trying to take this band as far as we can around the globe before the priest machine starts up once more, as it will. You know, we're all in our respective bands still. You know, we're all still in Accept and Uriah Heep, and Ronnie's doing some dates with Michael at the moment, I think. You know, and until we're not anymore. So, and until those bands are no longer with us, we've got to fit it around that. So until until that stuff starts up again, we're going to try and put some dates around where we can, when we can, and with whoever we can. So watch this space.
So speaking of Scott Travis and Rex Brown, do you have any plans of them coming out touring with you with the band, or are they just basically there for the recording of the album?
Exactly, they were there for the record, and I'm incredibly grateful to them for the contributions that they made to the record, and the playing and stuff. It's great. I'm incredibly fortunate to be able to call up guys like that and say, "Hey, bro, can you?" They're friends of mine first and foremost, and to be able to call them up and say, "Can you play on the record?" is I'm incredibly lucky and grateful to them to be able to do that.
And also, you have you guys did a cover of the UFO song "Lights Out." How was that recording? That was it.
Well, I mean, I'm intimately familiar with that song. Playing the bars and clubs of London and England, and we played that song to maybe 3 or 4 people tops. So it's a favorite of mine. I'm a massive UFO fan, massive Michael Schenker fan, and I was toying around with a few cover ideas for the record, and that was one of them. And it seemed to fit the dynamic of the flow of the record. It seemed to fit in the right place and have the right dynamic for that position in the album. Also, I think it's different enough from the original in terms of the tuning's different and the solos are different, but it's kind of recognizable enough to the original. So I think it kind of sometimes people change covers too much, and sometimes they don't change them enough. So I think it's right on the line. It sounds like the original, but it's different enough to be its own thing. So for all those reasons, I thought I'd put it on there. But the main reason is I love UFO and Michael Schenker, so I thought I'd put it on there for that reason.
That's awesome. So you say you plan on continuing the band even when you're doing Judas Priest. So you plan on doing another album, I assume?
Yeah, we've actually started putting down the groundwork for album number 2. We're not sure when that's going to be out. Obviously, the first one isn't even out yet, but we're creative people, and we had some time to start putting down the drums. So me, Christopher, and Davey got in a room and we put down the drums and we played together, put the drums down. So yeah, it's always been a priority of mine, really, to have a band that grows and evolves with the characters in the band, as much as they want to be involved in it. That's part of it, really. And as we know, I joined Judas Priest when they were 40 years in. They're now over 50 years in. And we know the reality is, one day, I had a conversation with Glenn Tipton once, and he said, the band is not going to be around for 20, 25 years. And so it was in my mind then, really, to start thinking about what I'm going to do after Priest. So this is kind of laying the groundwork for that, really. What if the boys one day turn around and say, we're going to call it a day? Then hopefully I've sown the seeds with Elegant Weapons, and we can carry on with that.
Nice, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm really digging the songs on there. Really appreciate you coming on the show today. Speaking of music in general, the Rock Hall came out today with their inductees for this year, and Iron Maiden did not make it onto the list. What do you think about the Rock Hall and the bands like that?
Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares that Maiden? I think it's better that Iron Maiden isn't on there. I don't think it matters. I mean, I've said this before. This is nothing new that I've said. I'm sure this will turn up somewhere because it always does. But I think the biggest accolade any band can have is touring the world for 40, 50 years with legions of passionate, dedicated, loyal fans with albums and drive to put out new music and new tours and dedication to putting out quality and being able to do that, whether it's on a club level or a stadium level, it doesn't matter. That's the integrity that Iron Maiden have always had and always will have. And if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whoever that is, doesn't recognize that, then who cares?
Exactly.
The fans do. The music world knows that, and Iron Maiden will be around a lot longer in legend than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will ever be. And it might be controversial for me to say that because Judas Priest got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I didn't. And you know, I don't know if it matters that much anymore. So that's what I've got to say about that.
That's awesome. So there last year, you went on stage with KK and Glenn too, right? And how was that? You must really that must have been a really unique and enjoyable experience for you.
It was fantastic. I mean, after everything I've just said, that was a fantastic experience. I mean, Priest have always been known, obviously, for a two-pronged guitar attack, and that's the legend that is Judas Priest. You know, on that front. So to be up there as part of a three-pronged, the three-pronged crown was just. I mean, I was just blessed to be up there playing with the band as part of the band. In 2023, I was just lucky to be there, really. But it was great to meet Ken and play with Ken, and I could hear him firing out through the guitar speakers next to me, and it was great fun. And as I said, everything I just said about the Rock Hall, it was great to see artists like Lionel Richie and Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart and
Dolly Parton
was there. I mean, I'm a child of the '80s, man, so I grew up with all that stuff. So it was great to see all those artists there, and it was a great night out for sure.
Nice. So, speaking of Judas Priest, what are the bands? What do you have? What's upcoming with the band?
If I told you, I'd have to. No. Well,
exclusive for this day in metal.
Judas Priest announced some UK dates for March 2024. Right. And we are putting the finishing touches on what will be the next studio album. When that's done, obviously we have to mix it, we have to master it, then we have to manufacture it. So the 3 M's right there, the 3 M's. So mixing, mastering, manufacturing. And I know that vinyl is taking quite a while these days to get done. So that's out of our hands, really. So, but as far as the recording process, it's almost completed and it's sounding stellar. I was in Phoenix a few weeks ago with Andy and Rob, and we were, Andy was producing Rob's vocals, and hearing that legendary voice on new Priest songs is just great to be a part of. It's a blessing to be a part of something creative like that in the Priest universe, putting new Priest songs into the Priest universe. That universe that contains the Sentinel and the Painkiller and the Tyrant and stuff like that. It's a trip, man. It's exciting for you guys to hear it.
You need to tell Rob this is my ultimate concert would be Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. So that we really. So we're
well, let's hope they get in the Rock Hall, then that will happen. No, I'm kidding. I'm Lucas, obviously. So I think that will be a lot of people's dream to see Maiden and Priest on a double bill. I think that will be the ultimate heavy metal billing. And then we should make it bigger. We should make it bigger than that. So it could be like Maiden, Priest, Saxon. It could be some more British heavy metal on there, and we could put it to the fans like as a vote of what the lineup should be. It should be a big, a big thing. Spearheaded by Maiden, Priest. Unfortunately, Sabbath aren't around anymore. Maybe they'd reunite for a couple of shows. I don't know. Unfortunately, Motorhead aren't around anymore. That would have been a great addition.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, maybe Diamond Head. We could have Diamond Head. I know. Def Leppard were they heavy metal once? I don't know if they are anymore, but they could. It's a conversation to be had anyway,
Right. So you say Andy Steve, he worked on he was a producer on the record too, was he not?
On the Elegant Weapons record and the Priest record, yes.
Right.
Yeah, so obviously Andy was a no-brainer for me. I've been close with Andy for the last few years now, obviously doing the Priest thing, both in the studio and live. We talk almost every day, me and Andy, about guitars or sounds or Priest record or the Weapons album or whatever it may be. But he was a no-brainer in the sense that obviously he grew up on the same music that I did, but he's a producer in 2023, so it has to have a certain modern quality to the sound while
Right.
also referencing those influences that I was just talking about. So that's the nature of the music that I'm putting down. It's got those influences, but I'm aware that it's coming out in 2023, and Andy's that guy. So it was a no-brainer, really, when I was looking for a producer. There was no one else really other than Andy Sneap, and he'll be doing the next one for me as well.
Okay. So that's awesome. So the album comes out May 26th, I believe, on Nuclear Blast Records. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the new Priest album. I really appreciate coming on the show today. And I think that's about it for the interview. And I really appreciate for you coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for the support, and it'll be great to be back on when the next record's out, or the next Priest record's out, or the next, craziness is out, or the next tour, or whatever. So it'd be good to see you again in the future.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Thank you, brother. Take care now. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.